Hello everyone, what a crazy over-the-air patch we had today, taking out some big hitters like Loki, Doc Ocs being changed quite dramatically. We have Leech, all great changes. We had a really cool power upgrade in the Apocalypse, which I'll explore a little bit later, but for now I want to check out Doc Ocs. And I want to check him out in a shell that I have been playing around with and I think has been gaining some traction, and that is a Hazmat Werewolf Ajax bounce. This one can do a lot of cool things. It has a lot of flexible ways to position that power. It has a lot of good disruption in the White Widow, the Viper, the Hood being sent their way into Beast being able to pull those back in. It has the Hazmat Ajax dynamic duo. The Werewolf can absolutely scale all around the board. We have Grandmaster, which some games he's going to be a dud draw. Other times he can maybe position your cards and allow you ways to win that you wouldn't have been able to otherwise. The Doc Ocs now being just that good stat stick of a 4-cost, 8-value card that is going to give you some information and pull out their lowest power card, which can be quite disruptive against certain builds and certain decks. And so we're going to go ahead and jump over into a couple of games. The Over There came out incredibly late, and so we don't want to take any more of your time than we have to. Thank you guys as always for being here. I hope you guys enjoy. And Sinister London. Okay, so Moon Knight comes down. We're going to lose our Doc Ocs. We never get to play the man, the myth, the legend, unfortunately. What did they end up dropping on their end? Nothing. So they didn't have any even cost cards. Very interesting. So we could go Cassandra Nova, but instead I'm going to go Viper to the left, plus Demon. I think this Viper should move the Werewolf over, and hopefully we don't summon it our way. And they snapped on us, but I feel inclined to snap back. Something in my little monkey brain says if someone snaps me, I have to snap back if I have no K line. And so we're snapping into it. If they play one card in Sinister London, our Viper could come in really surprising and cap out that lane, and that's what we're hoping for. We're hoping we can full send it, full cap it out, and if not, we can move that Werewolf out, gain one additional space. It won't be perfect, but maybe we can make do. All right, so the Red Guardian in the right lane has a 50-50 of hitting our Werewolf or our Electra, and it hits our Werewolf, unfortunately. We have the Hood moving in the left lane. I wish now that the Viper would have hit here. Unfortunate as it may be, it's okay. We can go double Cassandra Nova into a preemptive Beast to pull it back in, but where? But where is it gonna go? We're gonna gamble here. We're gonna say it's gonna go to the right. Worst case scenario, this Werewolf moves out. We have one more space in the left lane, which might be fine. But we're hoping to pull in Cassandra, the second Cassandra, and then we could play it again in Sinister London. That would be the hope. The dream is alive. We end up getting the Beast. We pull in the fake or the negatively afflicted Werewolf. The Black Bolt comes in. Goodbye, Electra. That's fine. The second one, goodbye, Demon. That's fine. We have Demon. They are locked in into the left lane. We have our Cassandra Nova coming in. And so that's going to be another 9 gazillion power wherever we end up deciding that it needs to go. And then we could always call this Werewolf where we want it to go. All right, let's do Hazmat first, and then we're going to do the double Cassandra and see where we end up sticking. The left lane should be ours, and then it just comes down to if they can win the other, and we do end up getting the 4-cube retreat, even with losing the Doc Ocs, even with losing 2 cards with the Black Bolt. We will gladly take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have, I'm going to take a guess here and say damage instead of OMG. I don't know. But the first location is the Strange Academy. We have Nico. We have our Rocket, and I think I'm going to go ahead and try to trigger the Rocket in the left lane, see if maybe they play a 1-cost as well. We do get lucky, so we have the 5-power Rocket Raccoon that maybe we re-trigger by hitting Grandmaster to move it into mid. Maybe we hit it with a Beast. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. The Bifrost is going to move our cards out of Strange Academy before that becomes a concern. I'm going to go ahead and go White Widow into the left lane, add a little bit of congestion and clutter their way, and then we'll see. We'll see what we can do from there. The right lane is the White Palace. They're going to get a copy of our Hazmat, and we get a copy of their Ajax. What? We get the The perfect flip opportunity. We'll gladly take it. We can do Grandmaster to maybe re-trigger either Rocket or White Widow, which might be all right. We could also do Nico into a Hood. Let's do Nico mid, Hood to the right. It's going to turn the Hood into the Demon. Sometimes you want it to draw your additional cards. Other times you get you get rid of the negative downside of your Hood, and you have a second Demon to lean in on. So the green Goblin in the left lane, we are needing and looking for the potential for a Viper, or we could always do Beast. Beast isn't awful. All right, they snapped on us. I'm gonna snap back. It's another same thing as last time. Something in my head says we can snap back and not have to worry about it. We have Beast in the left, and we're gonna pull all of these back in. We have the Return Fire Green Goblin if we want. We have the White Widow to use that we'll be able to use both of them next turn, and we have the Rocket again as well. So they have Sentry. So we may be looking at an Annihilus deck, which is a little bit scarier. They do have the Sentry with stacks over here, and so I feel like we may need to cap out this right lane. If they do have Annihilus, then they send us these negative cards in mid, which are awful, but we'll kind of see from there. Strange Academy, so it's going to move somewhere. Yeah, unfortunately, it's the Annihilus line. Not what we ever wanted to see here, but it is what it is. Annihilus moving over into the right lane could be okay. Mid is pretty treacherous though, because they could have, they couldn't do Hazmat. They couldn't do Hazmat Ajax, right? So we can throw something like this as long as they can't overpower us in the right lane. This is a lot of negativity their way. As long as they don't, they could play, I guess, 2 cards in the left lane. That would be a little unfortunate with the Widow's Kiss. But we're going to send it. We're going to send it and see. They could, I guess, do Hazmat Shang-Chi in the right lane. Might be able to do it for them. But that's not what they ended up going with. They went 1 card in mid, 1 card to the left. Let's see what they went with. We have the double negative in the left lane, the Demon in the left lane as well. They go Demon in mid and Ajax, which is going to be the 9 power resource, but that is not enough, my friend. We end up stealing the 8 cuber away from DMG, OMG, whatever the letters are. We'll take the 8 cubes. One day we'll find our Doc Oc, which is just that good tempo play, but in this game we did not need it. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Loki Toma, and let's see if they're running the Loki. I have yet to see Loki since the nerf to him came about, and I think he could probably still be used, but he's definitely much less efficient now. And so they go Squirrel Girl on 1. Dream Dimension in the left is a little bit unfortunate. We have Nico, which could buff up the next card that we play. Go ahead and do that. The Crimson Cosmos is a little bit tricky for us to play into with most of our cards. We do have the Doc Oc that can play over there, though, which might be decent. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think it'll be hard to win that lane. And so they draw 1 cost, we draw 1 cost. Let's start with our Werewolf in the left, and then we'll see. We can always do maybe Grandmaster to push a card with On Reveal from right or left into mid. Maybe that's our kind of secret ticket in finding a way to win. Let's go Hood plus Viper to the left. Normally I like to spread apart our On Reveals, so that would be something like looking at like different turns to do them. But for now, I want to do this. See if we can maybe fit and cap out that left lane. The Mockingbird in mid, we could always go with no Shang-Chi anymore. Unfortunate as it is. We start capping out that left lane. We can now do a Doc Oc on 5 with the Dream Dimension, so it's not as big of an issue. We could also go White Widow into like Rocket. But I like the value that we can get from the Doc Oc play. So they're going to move their Hydra Bob after this turn with the snap. I think we White Widow in the left lane. Maybe they play in Hell's Kitchen. Maybe they play in Crimson Cosmos. Unfortunately, they played in left and right. And so it's super unfortunate. The Shadow King comes in. It does offset our the scaling of our White Widow, and they changed the left lane. We are going to scale our rocket in the right. Hydra Bob is going to move, and so he bumps over into mid, which I think is going to be maybe a hard-pressed win. All right, let's go to the left and to the right, and we'll see. We'll see if we're able to hold it down. Doc Ocs is just going to be that good value filler play. They could have something big. Gilgamesh only gets bumped up by 2, though, and so it'd only be 11 power over there. We don't have anything... Gilgamesh, it is what gets dropped. It does bump up by 2, but since they didn't have a Khazar, a blue Marvel, it was not marvelous for them. They end up losing that lane, losing left. We'll take the 4. Had it been a Shang-Chi that they were hoping we'd play something big, that wouldn't have worked either because everything is now below that Shang-Chi range. We will take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Gnome, and the first location is Kamartaj. I'm going to go ahead and drop our rocket over there. Maybe they have a 1-cost card. Then we have our White Widow, which will be that double junk into that lane. Maybe a Doc Ock. Do we snap into it, though? I think is my biggest question. And I feel like, yes, we're going to snap into it on turn 1. Super hard for them to retreat out. We'll see. If they don't drop a 1-cost, that's okay. We could potentially hit it later with a Grandmaster. Maybe we Beast to pull it back in. But there's so many decks that have those low-cost cards now that I think there's an okay shot of us being able to hit this. And so we immediately have a 9-power Rocket Raccoon on the board. They do have 2 demons, though, so we have to be very respectful of the 2 demons they have. They could also have a Viper, which would send us 2 cards. And so if we don't fully cap this one out, it does get a little bit tricky. Let's go White Widow to the left, and we'll see. I think any deck that is running Hood nowadays probably has a Viper as well. But if this is a White Widow on their end, no, it's a Rocket. Either way, unless they have a Falcon, they are locked into place with the power that they have in the left lane, which is great. They can't hit us with the Viper, and we'll take it. We'll gladly take it. Let's go Werewolf over to the right. We do have a Doc Ock to try to pull their lowest power card. We could also go Cassandra Nova here. And maybe we do. Cassandra Nova into mid negatively flicks everything that they have. I think we're going to lean on that. That way, everything that they draw is worse off. The Falcon, unfortunate as it is, does pull in their Hood over here. Not able to hit the Rocket, but still at least clears a space for them to play a card in this lane. Unless we were able to hit them with a Viper. Maybe a Doc Ock. Let's go Doc Ock. It's good value. I think there's a good chance that they do end up pulling their hand back in, but right now they're capped out in their hand. We're going to pull 2 of their lowest power cards in the left lane, and so that's probably both Widow's Kisses are going to come right back into the left lane. They're only going to have 1 space to play after that. The Widow's Kiss, the second Widow's Kiss comes down. Super unfortunate. We have a lot of power in the left lane. A Shang-Chi we are susceptible to, but we have just so much base power here. It is, it's nuts how much base power we have. We have a Hazmat line. We could go Nico into like Viper. We could also go Werewolf, but I think what we... I'm going to go Werewolf into Hazmat. They go White Widow in the middle location and then Viper. But our Werewolf kind of frees that up a little bit. And so not a guaranteed cap out. We're going to move our Werewolf over, but he can't bounce after that point. And so an Ajax here would be fantastic. Not quite what we find, though. We can do Nico into Viper. Viper will move over here. Unless they can win this lane, this lane may be okay. It just depends on what they have as their Quantum Realm location. We do end up getting the 2-cube retreat from Gnome. Not a great showcase, but the Doc Ock ended up giving us a lot of flexibility in this lane so that they didn't have the freedom to position cards where they needed to. We'll take it. Let's jump over into the next one. All right, next up we have Aegon. The first location is Camp Lehi. which we get Cosmo out of. We have a Rocket Raccoon. We also have Beast and Grandmaster, so I almost want to go ahead and take a little bit of a gamble, see if they play one cost. They don't. Unfortunate, but it's all right. White Palace is going to give them an Ajax, and it's going to give us a Iron Man. Interesting. Okay. We do have Beast, but I'm not sure that I even want to play it, in all honesty. We could Grandmaster, but even that, I don't know if it feels fantastic. Let's just go Nico for now and see what else hits. And so Ravona, they're leaning, maybe it's a Mr. Negative deck. So we do get Werewolf, which is great. We're going to give it +2 power with the Nico. That allows us to start scaling him as early as possible. Let's see if they have the Mr. Negative on curve. If so, after that, we can do Cassandra Nova without really worrying. We don't want to do Cassandra Nova into the Mr. Negative because then that gives them a cheaper cost for all of their cards. Hazmat might be pretty useful here for us. We can go Doc Ocs mid, or we can go Grandmaster Beast. Let's go Doc Ocs though. Let's go Doc Ocs because we know they have an Iron Man in hand. And so if we can pull Iron Man out, or maybe even an Arnold Zola would be great. But no, we hit a Sage instead, which is also okay. It means that we don't have to worry about the Sage being that huge swing for him on the last turn. But the Sage is not as ideal as the Iron Man. We can now go Cassandra Nova Grandmaster into Hazmat Beast, both into the right lane. Because with their cards, the Iron Man, the Sage, a lot of them are going to operate on or get really negatively afflicted by the Iron Man or by the Hazmat. And so let's snap into it. I know it's kind of crazy to snap into a Mr. Negative deck that is going into turn number 7, but we also have the Cosmo that could stop a potential Arnim Zola, a potential Black Panther line. A lot of really strong things. A Mystique, it copies and stops that as well. We are going to get the double negative affliction on their cards with the Cassandra Nova jumping into mid, and they do have Jane of Foster, and so they're going to pull 2 of those out now, but they are -2 at the very least, thankfully. All right, I'm going to go Cosmo into the right lane, and then we can see. We're going to go Hood plus Beast in the left lane. That'll allow us to do all of those 1-cost cards plus Ajax and Hazmat on the last turn, which I think is a pretty big push for us. They do go 2 cards into the right lane after having their 0-cost cards drawn, and so let's see what they ended up doing. If it's the Ajax, it's our Ajax, and then Arnim Zola, which cannot trigger, and so now it comes down to can they beat us in the other lanes, potentially. And so we can go something like Ajax right, Rocket. We give up Ajax left, Rocket mid, Hood to the right, Rocket mid, Hood to the right, Nico into Hazmat left. I'm going to leave the Nico. That way the Werewolf can bounce mid to the right and then back to the left. And that is our read. That's what we're going to be pushing for. They go double drop in the right, 1 in mid, 1 in the left. Let's see what they end up going with. I think probably an Iron Man to the left, maybe a Mystique in mid. I'm not sure, but we'll see. Their Ajax, we allow that to scale in the left lane. Our Werewolf in the left is huge. Oh, they could have Shang-Chi, right? No, the Mystique. Mystique is fine. In that left lane, they can have the Iron Man, honestly. That is doubling up on 10 power, the Taskmaster on the right. The White Tiger is very, very close, but not close enough. We are able to hold down the left with the massive Werewolf, the massive Ajax, and then mid with the tempo play of the Doc Ocs, the Cassandra Nova, the Rocket. We were able to hold that one down. We will take the 4, and that is where we're going to go ahead and end the video. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. As always, it's been TLSG. Later, guys.